The difference between success and failure. Now, what happened in 1775, not far from where I'm sitting right now, what happened was that enough people got enough fed up that they got to the point where they said, we're fed up and we're not going to take it anymore. We're sick of you and your unreasonable rules and unreasonable impositions. We're fed up, and we've reached the end of our limits, and now no more Mr. Nice Guy. That's really pretty much sums up 1775. And we call that the American Revolution. We call it that because they ended up winning the war. Politically, militarily, winning the war. And as a result of winning the war, it becomes labeled as a revolution. Had they lost the war, had they not won the war against England, it would not be called the revolution. It would be called either the Civil War or the insurrection, words like that. Those are the words for the exact same sort of action when it doesn't result in success. When it results in failure and futility, it loses the designation of revolution and becomes designated insurrection, civil war, but not revolution. It becomes a revolution when it succeeds. And what succeeds often depends on tactics. The reason that in any case, the tactics have a lot to do with what succeeds, and what succeeds has a lot to do with how things are viewed historically. So the main difference between what happened in Germany 70 years ago and what is happening in America now is that America succeeds and Germany failed. That's the main difference. And the reason for that difference is difference mainly of tactics and circumstances. But the thing about the Nazis is what they did and what made them sort of destined to be historically failures was that they were blatant and blunt about their intentions and about their attitudes. They said, we're better than everybody else. Everybody else sucks compared to us. And we have the natural born right to do whatever we see fit to anybody else who's not like us, because you all suck and you're all just a bunch of shitheads anyhow. You're just all just a bunch of shit, and you're lucky we even tolerate you at all. That was what the Germans, that's what not the Nazis, said, and that was what they thought, and that's what they expressed. And because they were explicit about it, explicit, blatant, blunt about it, they were doomed to failure. In America, we have the exact same attitude. We're better than everybody else, and we have the right to do whatever we want to anybody else because that's the way it is. And the rest of you can go suck on it. If it bothers you, fuck you. We don't give a shit. That's the American attitude, but what makes America a success is that we don't fall into the tactical trap that the Germans fell into, the Nazis fell into, by being explicit and straightforward. No, that's destined for failure. What you need to do to succeed is to be insincere and completely phony and just put on a phony mask. That's what it takes. And that's what John Lennon said in A Working Class Hero. You must learn to smile as you kill if you want to be like the folks on the hill. That's the way it is. the folks on the Hill are always, whether it's Capitol Hill, the White House on Capitol Hill, or any other hill in any other community. It's always on a hill, isn't it? I mean, Massachusetts, the State House is on Beacon Hill. It's always on a hill. They don't put capitals in valleys. They put them on hilltops. And you have to learn to smile as you kill if you want to end up there. In other words, you need to be able to put on the mask and say express the opposite sentiment of what you really mean. So America, instead of saying we're better than everybody else and you all suck and we have the right to do whatever we want to, anybody else, whatever we feel like, which is how, actions speak louder than words. And this is the sentiment that we're shouting louder than any possible words by our constant actions. But as far as the words that we shout, and this is why perhaps why we shout so loud actual words, because we have to shout loud our words loudly to try to drown out our actions, which deny the words we say. So instead of saying that we hate everybody, we despise everybody, we look down on everybody, and we don't give a shit what we do to anybody, instead we say, America, we believe in freedom. We love freedom, and we love justice, and justice and freedom is what we're all about in America. And we need to give our justice and freedom to everybody else. That's where we succeed, where the Nazis failed, because the Nazis didn't know how to put on the mask and be completely insincere. The Nazis were sincere. The Nazis said what they meant and meant what they said. America does not say what it means and does not mean what it says. So when we say we're going to bring freedom and justice to other people, it means the opposite. We're going to bring slavery and torture to everybody else. Slavery is freedom. War is peace. And what was the third one? War is peace. Freedom is slavery. I know it. Every once in a while I blank on something, like today being asked what my brother's phone number was. And the silly thing was, I had the phone in my pocket. I could have looked up my call log and seen it was right there, and I totally blanked out even on that. I blanked out even on thinking of that solution, that obvious solution. Ignorance is strength. Ignorance is strength. Freedom is slavery. And war is peace. There you go. War is peace. Freedom is slavery. And ignorance is strength. So America remains strong as long as we are ignorant of what we're actually doing. You can go around waving your flag and saying, I'm so proud to be America. I'm to be American, and rah-rah. 4th of July, hooray. As long as you remain ignorant of what your taxes are actually doing. Freedom is slavery. We bring freedom to other countries. Operation Freedom. Hey, we're America. We want to make you free. We want to free you. We want to liberate you from your oppressors. Really means we want to be your next oppressors, and in fact we already are, because the so-called oppressors that we're supposedly liberating people from were put there by the United States of America in the first place. So we were already in control, and then what we do is we knock off a few of the puppets that we've set up in the first place and say, see, we've brought freedom to you. That's the purpose of being a puppet. That's the purpose of puppetry. Puppets are there to help us perform our puppet show. That we can play the role of being liberators because we knocked off the puppets that we set up in the first place. And war is peace. I don't think you really need me to explain that. We go around saying that we're bringing peace to the world. We believe in world peace. We hope for peace. We love peace. We even say give peace a chance. When what we really mean is total war. So that's the difference between Nazis and Americans, that Nazis at least were honest and they said what they meant. And Americans are successful because we're not. We're successful because we're not honest, because we know how to put on the mask and say the opposite of reality. Call that hypocrisy, I call it flim-flam. And I think it goes beyond being hypocrisy. It's deliberate swindle, deliberate flim-flam. Sort of like the difference between, well, it's the Emperor's New Clothes, basically. It's the Emperor's New Clothes, and you're not supposed to say that the Emperor's naked, because then you're not a good citizen, and you're not a good person, and you're branded as a traitor, and you're exiled, and you're banished, and you're blacklisted. That's the way it goes in America. The greatest nation on earth. The greatest nation on earth. Whereas the Germans were naive enough to go around calling themselves the Uberrasse, or the Meisterrasse. But Americans just call themselves the greatest nation on earth. And the sentiment expressed in those two phrases is exactly the same. And I fight authority, authority always wins. I've been doing it since I was a young kid, and I come out grinning. Well, I'd fight authority, authority always wins.